dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
Hey, what's up, guys? And welcome back to another episode of Sith Talk. This is going to be the second episode on the brand new channel that just launched today, the Sith Talk podcast. And my second episode is with none other than Seth from Beyond the Dune Sea YouTube channel. How you doing, Seth?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for coming on. So tell us a little bit about your channel and where we could find you at.
I'm one of a dynamic duo. We call ourselves Beyond the Dune Sea, and I'm with Connor. And you can find us on Instagram. You can find us on TikTok and YouTube, and all at Beyond the Dune Sea. And we're a Star Wars talk show. I mean, for lack of a better term,
Yep.
I don't know, a Star Wars podcast. Yeah, we're also on
Yep.
Spotify too, as well. I guess that is true too. But yeah, so
Nice.
but I mean,
Awesome.
anything and everything Star Wars, basically.
Yes. So for you guys watching, I'm gonna put the link to his channel down in the description. Definitely go check him out. I remember when I first saw you guys, it was on TikTok, and I saw the TikTok, and I'm like, man, these dudes seem awesome. And like the quality of your content, I'm like, these guys have to be like a big 100K channel or something, because like this is like professional. And then it was funny. Will, like the next day on Instagram, he sent me like the same reel off IG, and I'm like, yeah, I've been watching those dudes. They're awesome. So it's kind of funny. We were like both watching you and then talking about it at the same time. And then now we're all like best friends, which is
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. Do you what was the real? Do you remember?
Oh no, it was so long. It had to be
Okay,
the
I just was curious.
Ahsoka
I'm like,
reel. It
what?
was
I
an
wonder what
Ahsoka.
sparked the combo or whatever. Okay,
Yeah, it,
all right,
it, it
yeah.
was during Ahsoka, and we just saw it and like just appreciated the quality and the content
Hmm.
that we both talked about it to each other, and it was crazy. It's like, yeah, I know them. Like I'm subscribed to them now. They're awesome. So
Hmm.
it's crazy how small this Star Wars like community is, especially like with content creators like us.
Hmm. Yeah,
So
it it's weird that how it grows organically, basically, that
yeah,
it does, yeah, that it gets passed out there, and then it starts getting shared. It's wild how it works.
yep, it's all
Yeah.
natural.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
everyone that comes on the show, they get 3 questions. Are you ready?
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, all right. So the first one is, what is your favorite Star Wars movie?
Return of the Jedi.
Ooh, nice.
Mhm.
Good choice. Why Return of the
Yeah.
Jedi?
So, I am a sucker for that happy ending. I think that that's really
Mm,
what really gets it. I will admit that, like, I don't know how you feel about it, but, uh the first half an hour is a little just kinda out there, because it's just basically going and getting Han and then getting him back into the
yeah,
story, yeah, with all, because it's
yeah.
not really connected to anything else. It's just kind of this little mini adventure with Jabba the Hutt,
I love
and
it
they
though.
deal with that. I do too, I really dig it, man. I love, like, I love the music, I love the scenery, I think Jabba the Hutt himself is really neat, I think the Rancor fight's really cool, and
Yes.
then 2, like, maybe not like how the story is, but like how they released. That's the first time we got
Mhm.
to see like a Jedi really fight that, like,
Oh,
over the pit. So like we get to see
yeah,
Luke, going ham on guys.
yeah,
So yeah, and I dig too that, like, um I think it's really cool that Leia kills Jabba. Like, we're,
yeah.
hundreds, maybe thousands of people have tried to kill that thing.
Yep.
She takes care of business. Like, I think it's cool that everyone's got a part to play during it. Even Han's blind during that fight scene, and he even gets something. He gets some play.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. He
yeah.
does.
It,
Boba Fett knocks him into the Sarlacc pit.
yep, knocks him right
Yeah.
in. Yeah, and then too, I think that, like, the last half an hour of the movie is just like chef's kiss.
Mm,
With, you got
yeah.
the Battle of Endor happening on the forest moon, then you've got the battle in space, and then you have the battle in the throne room. And I mean, it's just, it's good, man. It's so good. It just, the throwdown with Palpatine and the throwdown with Vader is just so good. And I really dig on the whole, like, Luke may not be the most powerful person in that room, but he chooses to be a martyr and save his father,
Yeah.
and that in of itself is an extremely powerful thing. So,
No,
yeah,
for sure.
sometimes there are alternatives to fighting.
Oh, yeah,
So,
definitely. Did you
yeah.
get to see it again this year when it re-released in theaters for, like, that short period of time?
No, I did not. That I don't think that that happened here, or maybe
Oh.
I missed it. That I was, you remember when a couple years ago they claimed they were going to do all of them in 3D?
Oh,
That
yeah, but that never happened.
I know I saw Phantom Menace in 3D. That was the only one that I saw, and
Yeah.
then they claimed they were going to do all of them, and I was like, cool, let's do this. And yeah,
Yeah, I missed it too. I think
Mhm.
it like, over here, it was only, like, 3 days. It was just the weekend, like, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I thought it was gonna be, like, a whole week because in
Yeah.
2020, Empire was in theaters for, like, a whole week, and I saw Empire in 2020 in theaters, which was awesome to
Yeah.
see. But
Oh
I
yeah.
missed Return of the Jedi this year, man, which sucks. I'm hoping next year, though, since it's the 25th anniversary of Phantom Menace, that they put it in theaters because I would love to hear Duel of the Fates on like the IMAX Dolby Digital crazy surround. Like, how epic would that be just to see and hear that with today's technology in theaters?
Oh yeah, because I mean I remember like with the Force Awakens, like being able to hear like the snow falling and stuff like that, and like
Yeah,
yeah, that's just like I mean it's crazy how powerful technology has come, and
yeah,
then how we know that they made the movies good back then. It's not like they have to go back and fix them.
yeah,
I'm sure all those sound effects are in there. We just can't hear them because of the limitations of the technology at the
yeah,
time. So I would love to see and hear it now that it's been everything's caught up to what it can be.
yeah.
Mhm.
Fingers crossed, man.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. So,
Mhm.
the next one is what is your favorite Star Wars show? Live action or animated? Just one.
I think that I would probably have to go The Mandalorian.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I will admit this third season
Yeah.
pretty rough. I
Yep.
will I will give you that. That I will but um I think that season 1 and 2 are incredible. I think that, like, there is one episode I don't really care for in season 1, and then season 2 yeah, also, there's only one episode in season 2 I don't really care for, but then the
Yeah.
rest I thought was all, like, quality Star Wars. Really good stuff.
It was, and it's funny when the Mando came out, I remember when after the first season finished, like it made me like the sequels less. It, like, made me, like, hate them more almost because like, we got Mando, and I'm like, "Why couldn't we get this in the sequels?" Like, this was new, but it felt old, but it still felt like true Star Wars. Like, why couldn't the sequels give me the same feeling that Mando gave me, especially after Mando season 2 finale?
Yeah, yeah, and I like I kinda chalk up the sequel stuff all to, like, that they were flying by the seat of their pants. I
Yep.
don't think that they on it, and I think that they were always with every single one, I think they were trying to undo what the one did before it,
Yes.
a and, like because, like, I dig Force Awakens,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but you can clearly tell that, like, there's not a lot of prequel love in those movies.
Mm-mm.
And then with the following one, Ryan Johnson didn't like uh, what JJ did in the last one, so then he tried to kinda undo that one, and then JJ didn't like what Ryan did, so he's gotta kinda undo that, and it's just kinda this is weird because we kinda, like she's kinda back where she started, she's on a desert planet now, that, like
Yeah.
yeah, it's just kinda, like it's yeah, unfortunately that those didn't really kinda stick the landing, but I mean, I do appreciate Mando for the fact that, like, it's just kind of a story that, that's kinda just happening over here.
Mhm.
Granted, now that, like, that we're involving Luke and Ahsoka and all these other characters, that it is kind of, like, pulling him more towards, like, you know,
The
the
main
crazy
line.
stuff that's going on in the galaxy, but I do like just kind of the misadventures of what's going on over here. I call it Trash Cannon, his green son. That, like, that's yeah, so to people that don't really have any idea about it, I'm like, "It's a guy who wears a trash can, he has a green kid, and they have
Yeah.
adventures together, it's awesome."
No,
So Yeah.
Exactly. And
Mhm.
yeah, I enjoyed Force Awakens too. I still do to this day. I always thought it was like a decent start. And like, so 2015, that was a great year because Star Wars was back. Then 2016, we got Rogue One. So it was like back to back years of, hey, this is not bad. This is pretty good. But
Yeah.
then that feeling left like really quickly after The Last Jedi, which sucked. But there was a lot of hope back in 2015, 2016. But like you mentioned, you're right. Those directors just went back and forth. I always wonder what it would be like if JJ did all of them or if somebody else did.
Hey, even if like Ryan did all of them, like as long as like I think it's just weird that they're just like, well, now that you are the director, you get to make all the decisions because you're gonna write and direct them. That it's like,
Yeah.
if they had just had a book with the story and it's like, okay, and then the director gets to make their own movie, but they still have to kind of follow the book that is the
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
rather than just being like, nah, they can just do whatever they want. Just we trust them. Let it go. And I'm still curious. I want to know if his trilogy is ever going to get made because every couple years they ask him about that, and he's like, "Yeah, it's going to happen."
Yeah.
And
That
I
it
I
does
don't know,
pop
man.
up.
It's interesting. I don't like it. It is such an interesting thing.
I know a lot of people are angry and still hate Ryan Johnson for
Yeah,
destroying Luke, but it would be interesting if he did do like his own movie without the characters that we love because it might be cool because I like his other stuff like Knives Out and the other stuff that he has is dope.
yeah.
But
Everyone listening or watching at home, watch Brick, watch Looper. He can make a competent film. Yeah, then
yeah,
it's like I don't. Yeah, I think that he just um I don't know if it was the wisest choice to drop him in the middle of a trilogy and just let
yeah,
him do whatever he wanted to do.
yeah.
So, I have a love-hate relationship with what he did with Luke. I
Hmm.
don't hate the character beats Luke takes,
Hmm.
like, but at the same time, it's how he takes those character beats, if that makes any kind of sense. That I
Yeah,
don't mind the laying down his life for his friends. The whole that he's kind of given up and he's got to kind of find his way back. That like there is the like I don't hate those things. I just don't like how they were presented, I guess. If that
and
makes
how
any kind of sense.
and
Yeah,
how a lot of that happened off screen and we didn't get to see what made him broken because it would be a
exactly.
completely different story if we saw a lot of stuff and like it would be kind of crazy if Filoni and John were doing that in the
Yes.
movie he's coming up showing something crazy happen to Luke like what if they bring in Mara Jade and then she dies and that's a part of the reason he hides and like what if yeah, it could be
Yeah.
something like that.
You just make the fall of Ben Solo like the final straw that breaks his back. That it's
Yeah.
like, even I can't keep my family together. I gotta
Yeah.
go. Yeah, that like you could just have Thrawn before he's finally defeated, just rip Luke to pieces, basically. That it's like not a actual like physical defeat, but like a moral defeat. Yeah,
Oh,
that like I think that
yeah.
that could be. I mean, there 30 or 25, 30 years right there where they can play around. They could do
It's
all
a long
kinds of
time.
stuff. Yeah, that like they could do a lot of stuff to the and I think it could be very helpful for the sequel films.
Yeah. Oh, no, it would
Mhm.
be, yeah, super helpful. It would
Yeah.
change everybody's perspective, and it would be kinda cool to watch that new stuff and then rewatch the sequel trilogy because you would have a different perspective and a different mindset while watching it, knowing, "Okay, I saw what happened to Luke. Now it makes sense. Is it gonna be as bad now in our
Yeah.
eyes?" You know?
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing. The Clone Wars does wonders for the prequels.
It really does, and it's crazy because 'cause I've always loved the OT the most, and then I always loved the prequels, but, like, I always like, back in the day was like, "Man, the OT is the real Star Wars, not the prequels." The prequels was fine, but I was always more OT, and then I watched all 6 seasons of Clone Wars because I was late to Clone Wars, and after watching Clone Wars, I think I'm more prequel than OT just because it
Mhm.
enhanced and enriched that story with Anakin, Obi-Wan, Dooku, Asajj, just like there's just so much there that when I rewatch the prequels, I have the animated Clone Wars in the back of my mind at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, and what's cool about like that era of Star Wars is that is unique because like that's all out war happening in Star Wars
Yeah.
when like Galactic Civil War and then the sequel trilogy or New Republic era. I mean, that's really more like guerrilla fighting against a big empire.
Yep.
Like, as opposed to the Clone Wars and the prequel era is like all out truly Star Wars, if
Yeah.
that makes any kind of sense. Yeah. So so yeah, that I do think that it is cool that the Clone Wars actually gets to show um more of the war part of Star Wars rather than
Yeah.
just the very beginning of it at the end of Attack of the Clones, and then the very end of it, or the very beginning of it, yeah, in Attack of the Clones, and the very end of it at Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
It
cool that we get to see that.
it blows me away that all of that came from Luke Skywalker in A New Hope saying, "You fought in the Clone Wars?"
Yeah,
Literally, that one line turned into a 7-season phenomenon, which is crazy. Like,
yeah.
that just blows my mind right there.
Hmm. Oh yeah.
S
I'm sure you've seen that clip of Sam Witwer talking about how beautiful A New Hope is, where it's
Yep.
just like that he can, George Lucas just sprinkles all this stuff through there, and it's just how the lines are delivered and how and the way that they're said is just kind of like, oh, you fought in the Clone Wars, yeah. And then that's it. But like now we're just like, well, what's that now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like that's kind of a neat thing about that movie that it has all this stuff just kind of sprinkled in, and then the sequels and the prequels kind of help fill in all those blanks and stuff like that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love how they do that stuff so often. Even stuff like characters in the background, like in Phantom Menace, like Quinlan Voss is in Phantom Menace in the
Mhm.
background on Tatooine, and then Filoni gave him a bunch of stuff in Clone Wars and animated, and then he has like a book with Asajj Ventress. Like it's
Mhm.
crazy. A
Yeah.
dude in the background, they just plucked him out and gave him a whole story. Like I
Yeah.
love stuff like that so much. So the last question is, who is your favorite Star Wars character?
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah.
And I can only pick one.
Yeah, but most people
Mhm.
when I ask them that, they're like, "I have, like, a top 3 because it kinda rotates. Because everyone
Yeah.
has pretty much, like, a 2 or 3 that they rotate depending on their mood.
Yeah. Okay, well, if you're gonna let me do that then, I would say, I guess, uh Din Djarin, Han Solo, and
Oh.
then Darth Vader, Anakin, however you wanna look at it. That, those would be my top 3.
Wow, Din
Yeah.
Djarin is high up there. What is it about
Yeah.
Din that has you, like, putting him up there above, like, the OGs?
Well, I mean, if you, so, I'm a '90s kid,
Mhm.
so and, Boba Fett was pretty cool in the '90s, like, that was, like, I remember getting um going to Pizza Hut and getting the posters because they were re-releasing the special editions in
Yeah.
theaters. This is like
Uh-huh.
96, 97, somewhere right
Yeah.
around there. Yeah, and, that, like, again, just Boba Fett was the coolest. That was the whole thing. That like, just a bounty hunter going across the galaxy. He hates Han Solo. Like, we know very,
Yeah.
very little about him, you know what I mean? And then, um but then now in Book of Boba Fett, he's kind of now just like they kind of changed him, I feel like. He's kind of a different character now, if that kind of makes
Yeah.
any kind of sense. So, I feel like Din is what Boba Fett used to be, if that
That
makes
makes
any sense.
sense.
He's
It
that
does.
guy, he's that bounty hunter that's going around and having adventures all around, and he's the lone gunman that is living by his own rules, and he has his own
Yeah.
kinda crazy code of what's good and what's evil. So and then 2, I think that I mean, it's a tale as old as time, it's Last of Us. It's like, I like that he's taking care of Grogu, and that I
Yeah.
like that bond between him and Grogu. So,
No, that
yeah.
that makes sense, and it's funny, like, when Mando first got announced it was coming out and we saw him, like, I immediately thought Boba Fett because like, that's the only Mandalorian in my mind, like, to compare him to was,
Yeah,
"Hey, he looks like Boba Fett, he's a bounty hunter, that's
yeah.
cool." So that was a huge draw to Mando, but now, yeah, I love Mando too, I just bro, season 3, like, what did
I know.
KK just meddle in there? Because like, season 1 and 2, amazing. There's no way season 3 was what John had planned out. There's no way. No way.
I wonder if some of that had to do with that he had to wait for Dave to catch his story up with Ahsoka,
Oh,
and
that
it's like, I unfortunately have to tell a lot of side adventures because I can't get the story too far, that I need to have my because the ending really does feel kind of like Iron Man 3. or
Mm.
like Thor: The Dark World, where it's like, okay, we shined you up real nice. Phase 2 of Marvel, I guess that's the best way to say it. We shined you up real nice, and we're gonna set you on the shelf. And I can't wait for Age of Ultron because you're gonna be right there when I need you.
Oh,
And that's
yeah.
kind of how I feel that like the ending of Mando season 3. We gave you a house, now you're ready. That like, and you're right there just when we need you. So yeah, I thought
Yeah.
that made kind of sense.
No, that makes a lot of sense because I think
Yeah,
supposedly the Ahsoka show timeline was the same. It was happening the same as Mando 3. And
yeah,
we kind of got that in the show too when Carson Teva was like, "What about what happened on Mandalore?"
yeah. The
Yeah,
rebellion on Mandalore. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I think you're 100% right. And
Mm-hmm.
then I feel like Mando season 4 is gonna be literally Ahsoka season 2.5 because, like, in my mind, like, what's gonna happen in Mando season 4? Thrawn is back, Ezra's back with Hera and them. Like, I hope this happens, but I want to see a mission where Din gets a bounty and he has to go to Dathomir for some reason. And he just shows up on Dathomir and he sees Thrawn with all these Night Sisters doing a bunch of stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
then I want to see like Ezra trying to find Luke because Ezra can't take out Thrawn by himself. He doesn't have
Yeah.
Ahsoka. So that'd be cool seeing Ezra trying to find Luke. But one, like another little random scene that I want is for Ezra to meet Din and Grogu. Cause like, the minute that Ezra sees Grogu, I want him to say, "Is that a baby Yoda?" Because he knows Yoda, and that's something Ezra would say, right? Like, Ezra would be like, is that a
No,
baby
but that
Yoda?"
is a good way to get that in there. Like, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't. He would be the character to say that.
Yeah, but it
Yeah.
would make sense in his context because he knows
Yes.
Yoda. So, I
Yes.
I think Mando season 4 is gonna have some Thrawn stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
Especially I mean, and think about it, Mando season 2 and season 3 both had a lot of Thrawn stuff in it too. Mando season 2, the Ahsoka episode, they name dropped Thrawn saying he's alive, and then in Mando season 3, Moff Gideon was talking all that smack to the Shadow Council about, "Hey, where's Thrawn at? He's supposed to be
Mm-hmm.
back. He's not here." So, I think Mando season 4 could be a wild one.
Oh yeah, yeah. And so do you remember the celebration poster last year that
For
had I think I
Anaheim
think it
2022, the tan
yeah.
poster with all the silhouettes.
No, it had like maybe it was 2 years ago. I don't know. It had Luke, it had Ahsoka, and it had Din on it. It's just the 3 of them.
Oh, that might have been, Chicago 2019?
I don't know. I feel like it was more recent than that. Maybe. I don't know. It's just a
Uh-huh.
poster with the 3 of them on it. I'm trying to think. But yeah, that like Din's on one side, Ahsoka's in the middle, and then because I think it was pre even Ahsoka, and then Luke's on the other side. I just want to see that in a movie. I need that hero shot. I need that Avengers, like the 3
Oh,
yeah, just like you
yeah.
get the 3 of them all together, which I don't even know if that's even gonna happen in
Filoni's
uh
movie.
yeah, well, I feel like it would happen as movie. I don't know if that'll happen in any of the series by themselves. I think
Yeah,
that's gotta be like, that Avengers moment. Yeah.
yeah, taking down Thanos, getting everybody together to take down Thrawn.
Exactly, exactly. That'd be pretty wild.
That would be a sick shot, all of
Mhm.
them there together.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I
Yeah,
guess
camera nice Whedon spin around them as
yeah.
they're, cocking the gun, igniting the lightsaber,
Yeah,
like the yeah, Ezra ready with his fist.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
man. Yeah,
yeah.
that'd be cool for
Mhm.
sure. So the next thing I want to talk about is your guys' podcast. So like, how did you guys start it? Like, was it your idea? Was it Connor's idea? Like, who pushed it? Who got it going? Like, how did that jump off?
Well, uh, hmm. So Connor and I both have a background in film, I
Hmm.
guess, that, when I was in high school, I made, like, kinda SNL-esque kinda skits,
Okay.
and yeah, and, like, we showed them at a local theater and stuff like that, and then, like, did a Batman parody and things like that, and things, and then, also shooting weddings and stuff like that, so,
Hmm.
like, yeah, and different, like, live events and stuff, and then Connor was also doing that sort of thing as well, but I just didn't know Connor, and then we, ended up meeting at a toy shop. Like,
Oh.
yeah, and, we just kinda hit it off from there that we just were both kinda talking about Star Wars and talking about different stuff, and,
Mhm.
kinda it was funny that, like, I said, "I filmed a Batman movie," and then he was like, "Yeah, I filmed a Batman movie too," and I was like, "Did you use that garage?" And he's like, "Yeah, I used that garage," and I'm like, "Wild." That, like,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's like we had both filmed Batman movies
Uh-huh.
in similar areas, just, like, 8 years apart from each other.
That's so random. That's
Yeah, it is.
crazy.
It's really weird, and, like, I'll admit, mine was like a funny spin on Batman. It's like a
Uh-huh.
love letter to Batman, and his was very serious. It was
Yeah.
like a Titans kinda, take on it. And, anyway, uh, him and I got into, like, kind of the photography kinda thing that, like, taking the pictures of Star Wars action figures and stuff like that, and, we both, kinda just kept chit-chatting about, "We should make something, we should make something," and, um, eventually it kinda evolved into this, like, "Let's try and make, kind of a podcast variety show kinda thing,"
Mhm.
and, he'll say that I pushed to make it happen, but I think it was the both of us. I don't think that
Yeah.
it was. Yeah, I just wanted to work with him. That was the whole thing,
Mhm.
and, you should, whenever you get around to interviewing him, you should ask him about Tic Tac KO. You should ask him when that's coming out.
Tic Tac KO. Hold on, let me write this down.
Yeah, you should
That
ask him about that. Be like, "Hey,
Tic
when's Tic
Tac
Tac
K.
KO coming out?"
Oh, that'll be the first thing I ask him when I have him on.
Yeah,
Yep.
you should do
Yes.
that.
Yes.
That was, like, the first project we worked on, and it was actually while we were working on that, I think that he was like that's what, like, solidified that it was like, I wanna give this a shot.
Yeah.
I think Seth's a straight shooter. I think he could do this." That,
Yeah.
so yeah, yeah. So,
That's so cool.
yeah, and, again, it's just kinda crazy that it's, like, all happened very kinda, I'm gonna use this word again, like, organically,
Mhm.
that, um again, we just kind of put ourselves out there, and then other people in the community have been very nice to us. Like, again, you've been so kind to us. Like, you've helped us in many ways, like with any of
Yeah.
our questions and stuff like that, and been there for us. And then two, I've people messaging me and stuff like that, and just like I'm surprised at the just people being like, "Hey, I really liked your reel today," or being like, "You guys are
Yeah.
so funny," and stuff like that. I'm just like, again, always just filled like, "Oh my gosh, I can't," like, it's wild that,
Yeah.
yeah, that, like, it's cool because, like, you know the formula now of Beyond the Dune Sea. Like, we make a little
Mhm.
movie every single week, basically, like a
Yep.
little 1-minute movie, and it's like I'm in high school again because that's, like, what I did in high school was this, like, we were making those silly little videos and stuff like that, and yeah, it's pretty cool, I think. I think it definitely makes us stand out amongst the pack. Yeah.
Your 1-minute intro videos are so amazing every time. I think my favorite one though is the Kenobi, the Maul one. When you were Darth Maul, the
Thank you.
paint.
Thank
Oh,
you. Thank
that
you.
oh, it's so
I
good. How long does it take you guys to make those 1-minute little videos?
um Couple hours, like 3
Yeah.
hours probably, yeah, I mean, like, 3 hours of actual, like, filming of them that, like, I mean, a lot of prep time goes into, like, I mean, him and I are kicking scripts back and forth, him and I are, like, going out, like, the mall thing, I went to a fabric store and found that, like, cloth to
Yeah.
hang over my head, and then, like, went and got the paint, and then, ran home, and then I was like, I asked my wife, I was like, "Can you make me look like Darth Maul?" And she was just like, I mean, we can try. And so, yeah, that, made that happen. That, did a couple test runs of it, and it was like I'm like, "We gotta be able to make this, like, you gotta be able to just do this tomorrow." And so
Yeah.
she was like, "Okay." So, like, we tried a couple different times and made it work. So, yeah.
That's so awesome. And your guys' channel has been growing so fast. Like I remember when I first subscribed, it was like around 300 or 400, something like that. And
Mhm.
then literally before I knew it, you guys hit 1K. And I was like, what? And that
Yeah.
goes to show that it's the quality of your work, but like you guys are just genuine dudes that love Star Wars and talk about Star Wars. like that growth right there is like well earned and deserved. And like for this year, 2024, you guys are gonna fly, like
Thank you.
fly and hit crazy numbers. I'm excited to watch you
Thank
guys
you.
grow.
I
Yeah.
hope so. Um, I mean, we have several goals to do with the channel and everything that again, I mean, our goal was like 500 in a year. And then
Yeah.
we were going, yeah, that was like kind of like the number that we set. It was like, all right, if we can get 500 in 1 year, that's pretty good. And we will, we'll take a look at it if we're not, if we don't actually hit that number within
Hmm.
the year. And really like, we'll go back to quote Norman Osborn, we'll go back to formula. Yeah, and I'm happy that we didn't have to. Again, that like we've just been very fortunate. I feel like that
Yeah.
something's looking out for us, basically sitting on our shoulder and looking out for us. And again, I think that people have been very kind. That's it. I think that the community has been very very kind, and
Yeah.
I'm very thankful for everything that's happened so far. 'Cause I'm
S-
having a blast.
No, that's awesome. So,
Yeah.
do you guys have any goals for this year? Like, what's next for the channel? And like, you guys are almost at 1,400 right now. Like, did you guys set a goal on where you want to be at the end of 2024, or not yet? Not yet.
No, I mean, it's just yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm just curious to see where it goes now at this
Yeah.
point. Yeah, I'm not really, I'm trying to think, like,
Hmm.
you put me on the spot. But,
Oh
I'm
yes.
sorry. Yeah, I guess, like, I just I wanna make people happy, I guess, that's the
Yeah.
whole thing. Yeah, it's crazy how, like, some of the messages that we get and stuff like that, where it's like, "You guys make my day." Like, I mean, I love coming home from work on Friday, I grab some dinner and I get to watch you guys just kinda nerd out, and it's nice that, like, um, again, like, not to sound too cheesy, some of the messages, like, have, like, made a tear go down my face where it's just like,
Yeah.
I can't, like, people have just been like, I don't really have anybody to talk to about Star Wars, but you guys feel like like listening to you guys, it's what I want. I wish that I had people in my life that are like that, and
Yeah.
you guys can be that. Yeah. And so now I'm like, now we can't stop. Like
Yeah.
people need us. Yeah.
Oh
And
no, for
so
sure. Yeah.
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 And I hope uh yeah, I hope people keep wanting us.
No,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Now, you guys recently just did your first live stream, and
Yes.
like in that chat, I was in that chat. That chat was on fire, showing you guys so much love. Are you
Mhm.
guys gonna try to do more consistent live streams?
Yeah, I think that we're gonna try to put, like, a live stream, like, in a monthly rotation, like, we'll do,
Okay,
like, 1 a month, basically. I think
nice.
that that's kind of what we're gonna try. I mean, um, I like to be able to kinda sit and think about stuff, like, right there, like, I hate getting, like, all of a sudden, like, "Oh, man,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
on the
yeah,
spot now." Yeah, so I kinda get a little nervous about that. I like second takes if I need one.
yeah.
Yeah. Most of the
that
time, I nail it in the first take, but you never know.
that was hilarious in the live when you said, "Hi, Connor, we're live." You can't edit that out.
Yeah.
It was so funny.
It's true. It is true that sometimes, yeah, yes, that,
Oh man,
yeah.
that's cool. That's good.
Mhm,
So the next thing I wanted to talk about, because on one of your episodes, you mentioned you've been to Celebration, and Star Wars Celebration is the reason I started my channel like a
uh-huh,
year and a half ago. Was I started my channel right before going to Anaheim Celebration 2022, and the main reason I started my channel was to show people what Celebration was, how much fun it is if you've never been, and also
mhm.
to cover it, like how to get tickets, how to get into panels, how to enter raffles, like all the little stuff that you don't know if you've never been.
So
S
you're everyone's con buddy. You
Yeah,
help
yeah.
them. You help them around the con, you help them figure stuff out.
I do, and what's crazy is I started with Anaheim, and then when London was the next year, so I went to London, so I covered London. And for London, I dropped tons of videos, like when guests got announced, when the raffles got announced, recommendations if people should go and stuff like that. And I met so many people at London Celebration that they came up to me. Mind you, I'm an American guy in a foreign country in Europe, and people are coming up to me. They're like, "Tony, Star Wars Sith," and I'm like, "Hi?" And they're like, and they were like, I loved your videos. Like, I bought an extra day because of you. I came to Celebration because you recommended it. I felt so much more confident coming after watching your videos. And that right there meant the world to me. Is these strangers coming up to me saying, "Hey, your videos helped me so much." And now I'm here and I'm having a great time. Like, that feeling is insane. So
Mhm.
insane.
That I like That's gotta be really nice, like, just being
It
like,
is.
you helped a total stranger. That it's like
Yes.
and your videos were, made them confident enough that it's like, "I'm gonna spend an extra day at the con
Yeah.
just because now I know all the, the tips and tricks and stuff like that." That's
Yes.
pretty wild, man.
Yeah,
That is
so
wild.
that's how my channel started, yeah, and that's super wild, but
Mhm.
for you, you've been to celebrations, so I know you definitely talked about going to one, but how many celebrations have you been to? Like, which ones did you go to? 3.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, you're gonna have to help me since you're
okay,
I went to one in Florida. That was the first one that Ian McDiarmid was at. I think that was 5?
okay, so that was probably what, like 2000. You know what?
Yeah, you gotta help me.
I
That I
think
was
I
gonna say I'm s
I think I have a
Yeah,
list saved, but
yes,
there was a bunch of them in Orlando, and I know at
yes,
one
and I
point
went to 2 in Orlando, and I
there
went
were
to 1
2
in
back to
Chicago.
back.
What?
There were 2 back to back in Orlando, I remember that.
Gotcha. This one was still that, like, they hadn't I'm trying to think of when this could have been
I
because
think
I've been
2012 was one time they were in
Yes,
Orlando.
I think it had to have been that because I was there when they announced Star Wars Detours.
Oh, okay,
And
okay.
that was the Star Wars show that's just never gonna happen. That, like, yeah, that, like, it was pretty wild because, I'm watching Seth Green, the lights go down, we watch the trailer, it's pretty funny, this is kinda fun, this is, a lot like Robot Chicken. Lights come up,
Yeah.
George Lucas is sitting with them, and it's just like,
S Will this focus? Come on.
uh,
So,
oh
you p
goodness.
there was 2010 and 2012 were back to back in Orlando.
Yes, so I think I can't. It's man, I'm sorry.
So you
I think it had to have been 2012
Okay.
because yes, it had to have been because I was shooting a movie and I shaved my face so I could get a picture with Ian McDiarmid. That was the
Nice.
whole thing, yeah, so, like, I actually looked like Anakin, that was the whole thing that I was like, "I really want this picture to look cool," and so, yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
remember we were and my character had a beard, and I was like, "Guys, I'll grow it back, I don't know, I'll make it happen," and so, like, they were very kind that they let me go do this, basically. So, yes, I've been to that one,
Uh-huh.
and then I was at gosh darn it, I'm sorry that I'm terrible, that,
No, you're
I
good.
was at the one I was at the one where they announced Last Jedi,
That
like,
was oh,
so where I saw the trailer before everybody else.
2017 Orlando. I was there too. That was my first
Yes.
one.
Were you in the did
No,
you get to
I
you
didn't
didn't
get into
stay
the
all night?
panel. No, you stayed overnight
I stayed
in
overnight.
that
Here,
line?
but I got a story about overnight.
Woo, let's
You
go.
wanna you wanna hear something?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So check this out. Like it's we are here actually. And well, it's fine. Sorry. That I so we're laying in the like it was the under part like of the convention center, right? That it
Mhm.
was like the basement of it, okay? And
Yeah,
it was like
yep.
huge queue line going back and forth, back and
Oh,
forth,
yeah.
back and forth. Yeah.
Yep.
And we're trying to sleep. People are fighting with their lightsabers. It's so obnoxious. Like it is
There was a
so
DJ
loud.
and stuff too, right?
What?
There's a DJ playing music and stuff too, right?
No, he wasn't down there. Like, he did for a while, and then eventually it stopped.
Oh, okay,
But, like,
okay.
it was just like you could hear people battling with their lightsabers, and, like, they are hitting them so hard they're breaking them. Like, it's just loud. Okay? Then out of nowhere, there's these random murmurs. Like, something's going on.
Uh-huh.
Someone's coming. And it's like, "Well, what's going on? Are they, like, gonna feed us or something like that?" Because like, this is, like, late at night.
Yeah.
And it's like, "Dude, he's coming down ours." Like, we're in the middle, right? We're in the very, very middle. And it's like, that's really weird. How could he even be like or what could it be? It's Ryan Johnson and his whole
Yeah.
posse. They come down and they stop right in front of us, and they just
Oh.
start signing autographs and stuff like that.
So you got his
and
autograph on like your
I
badge or something?
he signed my Star Wars Destiny was a card game that I was playing at the time. It was a card dice game. He
Mhm.
signed my Kylo Ren
Oh, okay,
card.
that's cool.
Yeah, yeah, and, so the other thing was my friend's wife, she, like, was kind of an S show, like, just
Mhm.
with, like, everyone trying to she's very good at coordinating people. She just took the reins, and she made a queue line for him and everything, and they actually gave her a hat
Yeah.
with a panda on it. Because the name of the working title uh of Last Jedi was Space Bear.
Wow,
And
that's
so, yeah,
cool.
she has one of those hats that has the little space bear on it, and then it's got the XII, yeah, on
Uh-huh.
it. Yeah, or the VII, yeah, on it. So,
Wow.
yeah.
That's so cool. But yeah, that was
Yeah,
2017,
yeah.
Orlando.
Yes, and then was that also the year no, I don't think that that could be and then okay, so I was at that one,
Mhm.
and then I was also at the one in which I think this one was in Chicago, the one where they announced, Mando.
Yeah, that was 2019 Chicago. I was at that one
Okay,
too.
so I was at that one as well, and that one was wild because yes, okay, now it's all back because yes, I couldn't get it was because that was all like raffle. You didn't know
Yep.
what you were gonna get.
Yep.
Yes, and
Yep.
so we got one of the extra like the extra pods for
The
the
overflows. The
yes,
overflows.
I was in an overflow room and I was like, "Not worth it. I'm gonna lay in my hotel room and just watch it on my phone like everybody else for the Rise of Skywalker trailer." That I was just like, whatever.
Oh.
But we did get for this thing called The Mandalorian. And yeah, and
I
I'm
was in
like,
there too.
yeah, oh, you were?
I
Where
was
were you
probably
at?
I was probably sitting right behind you. I was kind of center, not the lower flat part, but how it went up a little bit. I was like right there.
Yeah, I was in the upper area too. Like that yeah. Ho yeah, I'll have to show you. Like I took a
Yeah,
picture of
yeah.
it. Yeah, I was we probably were near each other.
That's
That I was like I was not on
crazy.
the floor. I was on like if I'm staring, like if I guess if you were staring out, like if I was
Uh-huh.
Dave Filoni, I would be looking over to the right and then up a little bit. I was up there
Oh,
off the
okay.
floor. Yeah.
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 That's crazy.
So, yes, I was at that and that like that was just wild to be, like, on the cusp of that, that, like, that, like, everybody, because my wife and I got into that one, but everybody else did like, our group, no one else got into it,
Yeah.
and so, like, it was just kind of like, "Oh, okay, we'll go check out this Mandalorian thing." We didn't really know what to expect from it,
Yeah.
and then it was like, "Guys, this actually looks pretty cool, that, like, this is wild."
Yeah,
So,
and they let us
yeah.
watch the first 7 minutes, which was so
Yes,
crazy.
yes, yes, that was was that the
The first episode.
yeah, no, I was gonna say yeah, it's the part where he's walking in and he goes and he talks to the client and
Yeah,
everything. Yeah, that,
yeah.
yes, yes,
Wha
that was very cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so that's so crazy. Now, for the Rise of Skywalker, you went back to your hotel to watch the trailer. You didn't watch it on the floor because they were playing it on the show floor on the big screen.
Yeah. No, okay, so, like, the whole thing is, like, I didn't want to get up early, that I was just kind of because that was that morning
Oh,
yeah, and I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna have to be in an overflow room if I go watch
yeah,
it. I'm like, I wanna be in the room. I wanna have that energy. And I'm like, I'm just gonna watch it on my phone. And I'll admit, I'm just gonna I'm gonna hang out with my wife and we'll watch it. In which that's the story that I talked about with I even got emotional while watching it there. Like I had tears going down my face when I heard Palpatine laugh that I was just like, oh my gosh.
so for
Yeah.
that trailer,
Hmm.
it was amazing watching it. I didn't win the panel, but my buddy Ricky did. So he went and I just stayed in the exhibit hall floor because the main stage there, they had big screens and they were playing it there. So
Yeah.
I was standing in a crowd of at least 2,000 people. There's 2,000 of us, just all like this, like little
Yeah,
kids
just watch it.
waiting.
Yeah.
And that trailer was fire. That
It
trailer
is.
was amazing. Like
And
all the sequel trailers were like, wow.
yeah, and the sequels, with the issues that they have, they are very pretty movies. I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like, there are some great moments in those things. It's just that when you put it all together, it just doesn't always,
Yeah.
doesn't always shake out. Like, but there are some really great moments in those films.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So watching that trailer with the
Mhm.
crowd, everyone was just like in the zone. Then we get the name Rise of Skywalker. Everybody went nuts. Then you
Yeah.
hear Palpatine's laugh, and everyone was
Yep.
like, everybody was shocked. It
Yep.
was amazing to see that kind of energy and passion from like 2,000 people, just all strangers. Like
Yeah.
that energy at Celebration is just unmatched anywhere else.
Oh yeah. Oh
It's
yeah.
it's crazy, and
Mhm.
it's so funny that so Orlando was my first celebration, and I didn't even know what celebration was at that time. I just happened to live in Orlando, and I'm driving down I Drive, and I saw banners for it, and I was like, "What the heck is celebration?" So me and my boy Ricky, we bought tickets for Thursday, Friday, and we went, and we were like, "Oh, this is what celebration is,"
This is the
and
greatest thing ever. Yeah.
it is, and
Mhm.
we haven't missed since then. So, like, after those 2 days, we regret not going all 4 days. When Chicago came, we bought the 5-day pass right away. We did all 5 days in Chicago.
Mhm.
Last year, we went to Anaheim, did all 4 days. This year, we flew across the pond to London. We did the 4 days there,
What was
and
that like?
so that was one thing I was so interested because, like, I've been to 3 in the States. Like, what is celebration like in Europe? It literally is the same thing, the same exact everything, the same feeling, the same kind. And I even saw some of the same people there. It's crazy. It's like I saw you at Anaheim. That's
Mhm.
wild. But it literally felt just like Chicago did, felt just like Anaheim did, except for a lot more people and a lot of people with funny accents.
Okay.
That's the only difference. But that
Okay.
that was cool. The next one I'm interested to see is how is the one in Japan, because 2025 is in Tokyo, and we're planning a trip, like, we're going.
Oh,
So,
okay.
I'm curious how that's gonna be in a foreign country, but, like, they don't really speak English over there, so, like, it's gonna be very interesting to see how that works at that convention center there,
Mhm.
and it hasn't been in Tokyo since 2008, so it's been a while since Celebration has
Mhm.
been there.
Okay. So have you ever heard about, like, Disneyland Tokyo or Disney World Tokyo?
Oh,
That,
does
like
it's, like, cheaper to go there.
well, it like but also they, like, do it up more. Like, it's even
Oh,
more immersive. So
I
I'm curious if Celebration's gonna be even more immersive in Japan. Are
oh,
they gonna do it better that, like, even that we can do in the States? I'm kinda curious.
that
They're
now
gonna
that you
nerd
say
out
that,
even more?
I
Yeah.
I wanna see if it is better and if it's more organized, because that's the one thing about all celebrations, it can be a shit show in the morning, lining up, like, people that work there don't know where you go to line up for this panel.
Yeah, when I went and saw Hayden, I spent my whole, so
Chicago?
that would have been 2016 that when I went I think he was he at that one?
Or Orlando, 2017, he was there.
'Kay. I was yes, so it was that one that I was at
Uh-huh.
then. Yeah, and so, that, like, I spent my whole first day in his queue line basically because, like, they were
Yeah.
like, "Okay, it's starting. Okay, it's not. Okay, it's starting. Okay, you need to go find something to do. Okay, we're kinda maybe doing it," like, and yeah, that's nothing on him. Like, I
Yeah,
know
yeah,
that, like,
yeah.
yeah, there was issues with, like yeah, that with everything, but yes, that was all kinda yes, that my whole first day was spent kinda just hanging out. Like, "Is this queue line gonna happen? I'm supposed to get my picture." Like, I just yeah,
Yeah.
that I just wanna say hi, yeah. So,
Exactly.
yeah,
So I'm wondering if Japan is going to be because, like, the Japanese culture. I feel like they're a lot more organized, more efficient with how they do everything in life, even just regular
yeah,
day to day stuff. So
yes,
I'm very curious to see how that is. And we are going to go to Disney, but I'm more excited for Universal. We're going to Universal too because
okay,
Universal has Super Mario Land, and
yeah,
next year, they're actually going to open the Donkey Kong Country area in Super Mario Land only in Japan.
yeah,
So I'm a sucker for Donkey Kong. That's going to be crazy going to
mhm.
see Super Mario Land, but then the Donkey Kong Country area, I'm just going to be like a little kid. I cannot wait.
So you guys are gonna really do it up then, that you're
Ye-
gonna do Celebration, you're gonna do Disney World and Universal
ye-
Studios all in one trip?
Yeah, we're gonna
Okay.
go for like 11 days, so it's
Oh,
gonna
wow,
be
okay,
yeah, it's gonna be
yeah,
like the first 2-3 days in Tokyo, then we're gonna go to Osaka for like 2 days to do Universal, then back to Tokyo for Celebration and stuff. But the thing with Disney and Universal, the tickets are so cheap. Uh, Disney, I think, is $62. Universal is 67. Here,
okay,
in Orlando, it's like 100, 120, 150 to get in the park for a day, which is
Yeah, and
wild.
that's just getting in. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Mhm.
So, yeah, this trip is gonna be pretty epic, man, pretty
Yeah.
epic.
Well, that
So,
sounds fun. I'm excited for you guys.
yeah. Which was, your favorite celebration that you've been to out of the 3 you've been to?
Okay, so I guess I have a confession to make. That I will be honest that like I am not I'm not the biggest fan of cons.
Oh, yeah, I don't blame you, especially celebration because it's a zoo.
That says like people kind of stress me out that like I get really nervous and everything. So that like I just kind of have a little bit of anxiety when
Yeah,
so I think actually it'd probably be my first one was probably my favorite
because it's less
because
crazier back then.
well that and that like there weren't any there wasn't any new Star Wars. I felt like you were there.
Oh,
There was no one was riding that wave. If you
yeah,
were there,
yeah,
you loved Star Wars. It didn't
yeah.
matter. Yeah, that like and then
Oh,
also like there was a super bad storm. Like I had to ride the plane by myself. Like everybody
mhm,
else drove and I had to I rode the plane by myself and met them
mhm.
and there was a super bad storm and I just remember like being really really scared that I like on the plane and I was like please just let me make it through this I just want to make like I just want to meet up with my friends and stuff like that and I just was like um I just was proud of myself because I was really scared, like in that situation, and everything. Like
Yeah,
I legitimately saw because like the plane was shaking really bad, and like I opened up my the window because I had the window seat, and like I could see lightning like hitting the ground and stuff like that. And I was just like,
mm,
I'm like, please let me just make it through this, and I wanna be around Star Wars and be around my friends and stuff like that, and like just I guess probably that one just because, like, I was, proud of myself that I actually
yeah,
went, and I did it by myself rather than, like, getting drug along to it, you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I don't blame you because yeah, they
Mhm.
can be very crazy, especially like if you don't have the VIP and then you're just
Yep.
waiting in all those long queues for everything. Like
Yep.
it's hours and hours, man. It's
Yep.
crazy. So yeah, it's
I
not for
will
everybody.
admit, though, yes, there are lots of people, but I can't really remember any time that, like, people were, like, overly rude or anything like that, that everyone's pretty
Oh,
chill, yeah, for the most
everybody's
part. Yeah.
yeah, everybody's happy and positive.
Yeah.
Even if they don't like certain things, everybody's respectful. That's the
Yeah.
one thing I love about celebration is you could go there and not worry about like any drama with fans. Like there might be dramas with lines and stuff selling out, not
Yeah.
getting into this or that, but like everyone's just happy and having a good old time, man. I just
Yeah.
love that part about it so
Yeah,
much.
and it is kinda crazy that, like, there's always something going on.
Yeah.
Always. That oh, and I have to talk about this, and I don't even know if you ever remember, like, I don't know if they do them anymore. Do they still do, like, the fan mixers at after hours and stuff
Yeah,
like that?
yeah, there's the 501st throws a lot of parties that you go buy tickets and go to during
Okay,
celebration. Yeah.
so there was, like, so this would have been the first one I went to
Uh-huh.
that, um there was like an after party and we were just like, "Well, what's this all about?" And we
Yeah.
went and my buddy and I, they were like, "We're doing a dance competition." And my friend was he was just like, "We're doing this. We're being partners. Come on, let's go."
Yeah.
And we got to the final we got to the final 2.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and then we lost. But like,
Oh,
got second at a Star Wars dance party. Yeah,
what
yeah.
you do you have the footage of this as proof?
No, actually,
Ah.
there's no footage of that anymore. Yeah, it's kinda disappointing. I felt like the crowd cheered us quite a bit. I'm a little
Yeah.
sad that we didn't really make it.
Mm.
So, but that's okay. That is alright.
Gotcha. So
Mhm,
the last thing we'll kind of go over is just like a little recap of 2023, all the projects that came out, just because I kind of want to see what you thought about everything that we got, because we did get a lot last year, Star Wars wise, like on Disney
mhm.
Plus.
Yeah,
So the first one, Bad Batch season 2, what'd you think of that?
good
Yeah,
stuff. Yes, I mean, like and I, like, don't get me wrong, I don't, or I like an overarching story, but I don't mind as long as I enjoy the characters, kind of the little like, freak of the week or whatever, the little misadventure that they go on. And I
yeah,
know that I didn't mind Tech having to pod race. or them
Yeah.
encountering a giant Zepho kind of like
That was
brontosaurus that's shooting
awesome.
blasts at them. That I'm like,
That was
dude, I'm
awesome.
having fun. This is
Yeah.
wild. Yeah, that it's just and the Bad Batch is another vehicle, kind of like the Mandalorian, where you can explore over there in Star Wars. Like, what's going on over there? Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't involve like the Jedi or the Sith as much. So,
Yeah.
and then they hooked me when it was like, hey, these people are stealing Count Dooku's treasure. You got to stop them. And
What?
I'm like, that's awesome. Yeah,
Yes.
that it's just like that. What a deep cut. That, like, oh, Count Dooku's money. Like, didn't even
Yeah.
think about that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Bad
they're
Batch
pretty
season
cool.
2 was great, and some of the
Yeah.
episodes it was kind of weird how some episodes dropped during Mando season 3 at the same time. Like those
Yeah.
Wednesdays, we were getting Bad Batch and Mando, and like I want to say 3 of the Bad Batch episodes we got were better than the Mando episode that week. I was like, "What?" That was
Bad
kind of
Batch,
nuts.
I think people sleep on the Bad Batch. That's just me personally. That
They do.
more often than not, I think that it is good. That
Yeah.
and I enjoy all of them,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
I like. Let's be honest, they're kind of the Ninja Turtles. Like they're
Yeah.
those archetypes. Yeah, yeah. That and but yeah, I have a good time watching the show. I think it's great. I can't wait to see. Like, I definitely felt like at the end of season 2 felt very much like Empire Strikes Back. I can't wait to see
Yeah.
Filoni's Return of the Jedi. I want to see
Yeah.
how he nails that. Can he stick the landing? We'll
Yeah.
see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Next one, we kind of talked about it already, but Mando season 3. Connor was telling me your favorite episode is the Jack Black and Lizzo episode. Is that true?
Why do you tell you that?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, okay. What's he been telling you? I didn't know if I didn't know if it was coming where it's like cuz every day of my life someone goes, "Hey, you look like Jack Black." And I'm like, "Thank you."
Oh, I just made that up. He didn't tell me nothing.
Oh,
But
I
like,
thought you were look
no.
at that.
But
Yeah.
now
Now
that you
you see
mention
it.
it, maybe like the
Now you
hair a
see it.
little bit when he has like the hair. But
Mhm.
oh,
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Every day of my life. Somebody. "Hey, do you know who you look like?" "I know. Let it go." It's
oh man.
yeah.
But yeah,
I'm
Mando season
sorry. I thought
3.
that's what you were getting at. I'll be
No,
honest. Like I
it,
was like, "Oh, here it comes. Here it comes." So yeah. Um so like even with like yeah, Captain Bombardier and Lizzo hanging out but like we still get Christopher Lloyd. That's
I
pretty cool.
I love
We
Doc
get
Brown.
like stuff. We get a super battle droid. We get thing like we get. We're seeing stuff that we don't normally get from Disney Star Wars, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I always try to kind of find the good in it.
Yeah.
That yeah, I mean, I think my favorite scene was the Shadow Council scene
Mm.
from what was it? I think that was the second to last episode,
Second to
wasn't it?
last, I think. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, that I and I really dug too when the Praetorian Guards came out and they were yeah, that I was like, "Oh man, these guys are
Yeah.
gonna do something." Lo and behold, they don't. They're like Grogu's able to take them out, but like
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But I mean, like I'll admit it was a lot of spinning rims. But again, as I said
Yeah.
earlier, I really think that that was just to give Dave more time to kind of get his all his chess pieces in place. So now everything can fight across the board, basically.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
some banger parts in there for sure. Like seeing the Mythosaur in the
Yeah.
earlier episode, I was like shocked that she saw that.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for a good Order 66 flashback. So seeing
Mhm.
the gunships in the background, the
Yeah.
clones voiced by
Yeah.
Tamora, little stuff like that, I was like, oh, it
Do you
sounds
know what I'm hoping?
what?
Okay, so you know that like that they're taking Grogu and they got him on the platform, right? And it's a
Hmm.
Naboo ship. Okay. So who's from Naboo?
Jar Jar
Well, who else?
is Palps. Isn't Palps originally from there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what if he's taking Grogu to Naboo and then someone also thwarts him from going to Naboo basically. And that's how he ends up. Yeah, that's kind of
Oh.
what I'm hoping. Is it's all
Yeah.
like Palpatine even took care of that. That's like, "Oh, I'll get you to Naboo. That's a safe spot for you." Yeah, and then that's
Oh.
how he basically ends up where, Din finds him in the first episode is that he gets captured by pirates or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
That'd be
that's what I'm hoping happens, that it's, just yet another Palpatine plan, basically.
yeah. That would
Yeah.
be so cool if they did that.
Mhm. Yeah.
We'll see. And
Mhm.
then the other part that I was shocked, it was so random we got it in Mando because I'm a huge Rebels fan. But when
Yeah.
Zeb just strolls up to the bar, like
Yeah.
what he looked amazing. It was
Yes.
insane.
Yes.
But I was a little disappointed that we didn't get him in Ahsoka, which is Rebels season 5, but we got him in
Yeah.
Mando, which was very random.
Well, I mean, it helps Mando though. It helps build out the story a little bit more. It
Yeah.
knows you now know he's there. I'm happy that he wasn't one of those guys in the X-wing that got fried when the
Yes.
Eye of Sion left. Yeah.
I was worried about that. Yes,
Mhm.
yes,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, so there were some
So
some good moments like that for sure, but
oh, yeah. Yeah, I
ma
really, in that scene in the bar, I want that song that was playing. You
Oh,
remember that
yeah.
that funky beat that was playing before
Yeah,
before you go into
yeah.
the bar? Yeah,
Yep.
I wish that, or into, like, I don't know, the X-Wing wreck area. Yeah, that,
Yeah.
I've looked many times for that song or tried to figure out what that track's called. Can't figure it out. That
Oh, it's not, like,
yeah,
on the soundtrack for Mando or nothing?
I haven't been able to find it.
Mm,
Yeah,
damn.
don't know. Yeah, so,
Next
yeah.
one, and I'm not a fan of this one. It's okay, I guess, but Andor. Did you enjoy Andor?
Are we really going down this path? Is this a path you wanna go down?
Oh, yeah, yes.
Okay, alright, okay. So, I liked 3 episodes of Andor.
It's more than me, I
Kind of
like 2.
you like 2 episodes of Andor, okay. Alright. That, my whole thing with Andor is that it just feels very real.
Mhm.
I've said this before on Beyond the Dune Sea, and I just think that, like, I use Star Wars as an escape,
Yeah.
and I feel like that Andor feels a lot like what's going on outside. And I know
Yep.
some people are really into that, but unfortunately, that's just not my cup of tea.
Yeah, me
And
neither.
I think that, like, what really even hits that home too is, like, if you look at the weapons and stuff like that, like, I mean, like, they look like our weapons. They don't even really look like blasters and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And I again, I think it's cool. They're doing their own thing. I love that they built their own sets. I love that they're doing and I'm
Oh, yeah.
excited. I like, they're telling those stories on the other side, of the galaxy. Like, here I am talking about these other things that I like, and Andor's kind of doing that.
Mhm.
But I just, I feel like if you tweaked it just a little bit, Andor's not really a Star Wars story anymore. It's kind of another sci-fi show.
Yep.
Yeah, and I don't think that you'd have to tweak it too much. And don't get me wrong, I'm excited because I think his little droid is gonna become, K2SO. I think that that's, like, a given. I think that they're gonna take the
Oh,
brain.
from
Yep,
B2
yep, and I
and
think they're
put
gonna take the bit and then they're
Oh.
gonna put it into I think that's a given.
Oh, I never thought of that. That would be
Really? I
crazy.
thought that
Yes.
though as soon as I met him, I was like, "Oh, I bet he'll be K2SO."
What?
Yeah, like,
I
I thought that is yeah,
I haven't
that has
seen
to happen.
anybody talk about that. That's
Really?
kinda yeah, that's kinda crazy.
Well, you heard it here first.
Oh, man.
Yeah, yeah, at least I think that's what's gonna happen,
Mhm.
is that they're gonna, like, take the droid or take the, well, I'm sorry, what kinda droid is K2SO? He's a Imperial what?
I don't
Um,
know.
yeah,
Something. Yeah.
I'm sorry off the top of my head that, yeah, I think that they're gonna need to basically that, they're gonna take the brain out of one and put it into a new body, basically.
Wow, that would be
Yeah,
nuts.
yeah, or something of that nature, kinda like how L3 in Solo
Is
became
the
the Falcon.
Falcon? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, kind of like that, yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that. I'm excited to kinda see how all the pieces kinda, fall into place for Rogue One.
Yeah, yeah.
That, yeah, yeah, and I guess I wanna make sure that the kids watching at home, that it's like, just because it's not my cup of tea, I'm not knocking it.
Oh
Not
yeah,
like,
yeah, of
but
course.
yeah, I want to. Yeah, I was gonna say that. Like, if you enjoy it, go ahead, enjoy it.
Yeah.
I just, yeah, that um I like my Star Wars being a little more black and white rather than gray. Like if I want gray, I'll watch Game of Thrones or I'll watch The Boys or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm right there
Mhm.
with you. I'm looking forward to
Yeah,
season 2 because it looks a lot more gritty and fast paced and hopefully more
yeah,
of that Star Wars feel. But
yeah,
the one thing about season 1 that grinded my gears that we didn't get, and
yeah.
they teased it so many episodes, was the dinner party with Emperor that Mom Mothma was talking about
Oh,
that
that
she
she was
didn't
gonna
want to
show
go.
up. Yeah.
And you
Mhm.
saw the episode where she's all dressed up, but then her daughter started acting up and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then the episode ended, and then when the next episode started, the dinner party happened already. I was looking forward to seeing Palps across from Mom Mothma talking smack back and forth about politics. How cool
Yeah.
would that have been if we would have got a dinner party?
That I mean, that would have been wild. I guess I never even I don't do you think that Palpatine's out doing the aristocrat kinda thing?
I guess because like she said, it was his dinner party, and like at first, remember she
Yeah.
was like she didn't want to go because she didn't want to see him.
Yeah. It's interesting. I don't
Yeah,
know, like yeah. Huh, huh.
who
I don't
knows?
know, I guess I just always like, I feel like that, once he became emperor, he no longer really concerned himself with, like, the common folk.
Yeah, yeah,
Basically, yeah, that he probably always had, like, Masamada or someone
yeah.
basically be a mouthpiece for him, basically. That's why I think it was such a big deal when he showed up at the end of Bad Batch season 2, that, like, it really had that
Mm,
gravity when he came out that it's like, "Oh my gosh, the emperor is making an appearance." That, like,
yeah,
he's not normally here during the Senate meetings. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, more
Uh,
pressing matters to attend to. Yeah.
exactly.
Mhm.
The next one, Visions season 2. What'd you think of about Visions?
So, like, Visions is always a mixed bag. Like, I like it. Like, there's
Yeah.
always, like, a couple that I really like.
Yep.
Like, I remember I really liked the first 2 of them
The
this
Sith was
season.
the first one, and I forgot what the second one was, but yeah, they were both
Yes,
good. The
and
first two.
then also there was one with a cave where they go and then there was a creature in a cave, and then she ends up getting taken. Yes,
Oh,
I
yeah,
really
yeah,
like that one as
yeah.
well. Yeah, where it's kinda like and you think a Jedi's gonna take them, but it's actually a
A
Sith takes
Sith.
them.
Yeah, that
Yes,
was
and I was
cool.
like, "Ooh, what a spin on an old classic." I like
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, mhm,
Yeah, Visions is cool. Like, it's like
yeah.
half of it is great, half of it's like, "Oh, it's cool, but it's not for me."
Yeah,
But
and but you get that though, you know what I mean, with all those different creators and all those
yeah.
different, different looks, and I like that, I
Yep.
mean, and I think that's neat that, like, everybody gets their own Star Wars, everybody can be
Yeah.
into their own thing. I mean, wouldn't it be really boring if we all just liked the exact same thing, and we're all into and it's all just the same all the time, that it's like,
Yeah.
no, like, I liked this episode. Well, I liked this episode. Well, why did you like that? And we can talk about that.
Yeah.
Maybe I can learn to appreciate it more because you show me something that I didn't realize on first watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
This next one kinda, like, shocked me after watching it because I did not expect it to be this good.
Yeah.
Tales of the Jedi. What'd you think of Tales?
So, I think I really like the Dooku parts.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that um, the Ahsoka stuff, I don't know if it was completely needed,
Yeah.
especially 2 of them. Like, the one where the training one, where it's showing how she's able to protect herself during Order
Yep.
66, like, it's pretty good. Yeah, but
Yeah.
the other 2, I'm like, were they really necessary?
I can
I
see
mean, I
that,
don't.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but, all the Dooku stuff, like, I'm here for it, like, and the only thing that, like, I was disappointed with is that his lightsaber was curved, even when he was a Jedi. Because I
Oh.
always thought, I guess in my head, that,
Mhm.
like, yeah, he was always an awesome swordsman, but then it's like when he decided to leave the Jedi Order, it's like, "Oh, I'm gonna start using this curved handle because it throws other people off." And it's yeah, now
Mm.
I can throw off the Jedi.
Yeah.
I'm not fighting the way they were trained to
Yeah.
fight. Yeah.
I
So,
loved
but,
No, go ahead.
um Oh, okay. I was just gonna say that, like, I love how Dooku was presented. I love how he looked. Like, I mean, he had a very Dracula look to him, which makes sense. Christopher Lee played
Yes.
Dracula like a ton of times. So,
Yeah.
and even like young him kind of looked like Dracula. So good
Yeah.
stuff. Good stuff.
When he went into the archives, the minute he started walking in there, I'm like, "Oh my god, is he doing what I think he's gonna do?" And how he raced Camino from it, it's like,
Hmm.
wow, I love that. That little scene just adds a little bit more to that moment in Attack of the Clones when she's like, "Oh, it's not there." The
Yeah.
like
It,
that was cool. And the episode where he's fighting Yaddle, that music was so Revenge of the Sith, like so prequels, like it just blew me away that episode. And it's kind of cool how that explains why Yaddle disappeared after Phantom Menace because we never saw her no more.
yeah.
And like it's
Just,
like Dooku killed her.
just randomly gone. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I really dug that fight, and I like too that like the whole again, Palpatine pulling the strings during all of that. That, like,
yes,
just really playing on, Dooku's heartstrings, where it's like, "You gotta kill her if you want this to work. Are you here for the cause? I hope you're here for the cause." That,
yeah,
yeah, just another test, basically. It's pretty wild.
yep.
Mhm.
The last one is Ahsoka. Did you enjoy Ahsoka?
I did, not only that I mean, like, not only did I enjoy the show, like, because of the show, but, like, I really care about it because I think that we owe the show a lot for Beyond the Dune Sea. I mean, we
Mm,
Connor and I both agreed that it was like, "All right, we will do this. Uh, our first episode will be about Ahsoka. That's what
yeah,
we're gonna talk about first." And, that's kinda that was yeah, the first stone on the path,
yeah,
basically, and and that's what kind of led to, all this, like, that's what led to this conversation because of
yeah,
Ahsoka. You and I are talking right now,
yeah,
and,
yeah.
so that, I mean, I enjoyed it. I think overall, if that was if if that was how Star Wars was going forward, I'm fine. I'm
Me too.
happy.
Yeah,
Yeah, that at
yep.
that rate, basically, I'll admit, I think it could have been a little tighter. I think that you could have
Oh,
probably
yeah,
cut out an episode, yeah,
yep,
which confuses me, but I'm sure that there's lots of politics behind the scenes and stuff like that
yeah,
that would go way over my head and I wouldn't understand it or whatever. I'm sure.
yeah,
Yeah, but that would probably be my, like, major complaint with it, is I thought it was, especially, after they get to Peridia, that they could definitely, they could have tightened up and probably lost a whole episode there.
yeah.
Yeah, and it wouldn't have hurt it.
Peridia probably was one of the most intriguing things about that show, because like
Yeah,
a planet where the Night Sisters are from, the Mortis gods are there, there's ties to the Zepho, like
yeah,
it's such an intriguing place that I want more just
yeah.
about Peridia and the history of that planet. And I think Timothy Zahn said he wants to write a book to talk about like the 7-10 years that Ezra and Thrawn spent on that planet. So if he does write a book covering that,
Oh, maybe we should read that.
that will be a juicy,
Yeah,
yeah, that'll be
yeah,
a
yeah, that sounds
juicy
like a good
one.
archives book to read.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. Oh
Mhm.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that's pretty much everything I have. What do you have coming up next on Beyond the Dune Sea that the people could look forward to?
Well, I mean, uh we just had an episode drop, like an hour ago, 2 hours
Hmm.
ago, something like that. So I would say go check that one out. That was
Yep.
our holiday special that, we do a dramatic reading in that, and I'm pretty proud of it, I'll be honest. I
Yes.
don't know, did you get a chance to see it or no?
Not yet. I was
Okay.
taking a nap in preparation to
Okay.
record for this.
Don't blame you. I didn't even, I didn't watch it either. That I was out shopping. I couldn't help it. Could not be in the chat or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um But I'm pretty proud of it. There's also a fun little, we our little 1-minute movie was, our take it on Home Alone 2, which, I
Oh.
love. I love the first 2 Home Alone movies, so I'm
Yes.
happy that we were able to make that because we talked about parodying all kinds of different stuff, and I'm happy that
Mhm.
we landed on Home Alone. And I hope that we can kinda keep making that a reoccurring gag, is having Grogu show up and ruin our day in one way or
Yes.
another. Yeah.
N
But, So we are doing we're we're doing Tales from the Archive. That's coming, which is our Star Wars book club. We're talking about more of Darth Plagueis.
Yes.
Then we're going to do kind of a 2023 recap with a what's to come in 2024.
Nice.
And then after that, first review of the year, we're going to talk about Rogue One, a Star Wars
Oh,
story. Yep.
nice.
So we will see. I know that we got a lot of flack for that with what I said about Rogue One
Yeah.
in the because I will admit I think it's a pretty good movie. I don't think it's my favorite Star Wars movie though. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm curious to rewatch it and see maybe my opinion changed
So
because Connor and I's opinions changed a little bit when we both rewatched Kenobi.
Kenobi.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that he had it up here and it came down a little bit for him, and I had it pretty far down here, and it came up a little bit for
Oh,
me.
okay.
But, like, we both learned to appreciate it a little bit more, and I think he learned that he could see where I was coming from. I think
Yeah.
because when it was coming out, man, I remember him talking like we were talking about it, and I was saying these things, these issues that I had with it. And he's like, I just don't see it. I don't know what you're talking about. I love it. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, all right. Sure, man.
That's hilarious. With
Yeah.
Rogue One, it's funny because Rogue One has been creeping into a lot of people's like top 3 favorite movies and stuff, which
Yeah, dude,
I I, en- I
people
enjoyed it, but I think it might have one of the best, if not the best, Vader scene because that hallway scene at the end, I love that scene so much, man.
yeah, there's stuff I like about it, and then there's stuff I don't like about it.
Yeah.
Kinda yeah, that, like, it's interesting. I think that movie has a wonderful 3rd act.
Yeah.
I
Oh
will
yeah.
say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I think that the trouble is the first 2 acts. That and especially I think that middle act is rough.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's just me, though. I don't know. Again, I'm excited to retackle it. That the, um, I've already got ideas for a 1-minute movie with, like, maybe parodying
Ooh.
that hallway scene or something like that, that I think that could be a lot of fun. Yeah, they're like
Ooh.
in one way or another. We'll
Oh.
see. I got ideas that are different spins that we could take on a Vader scene. So, we'll see what we come up with.
That'll
So,
be awesome. So for you
yeah.
guys watching, be sure to go subscribe to Beyond the Dune Sea. Link will be down in the description. Seth, thank you so much for coming on, man. I appreciate your time.
Yes, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I
Of,
had fun.
of
Mhm.
course. And that's it for this episode of Sith Talk, guys. We'll see you guys next week. Bye, guys.